viewers, welcome to Newspeak South Asia, a program that talks about breeding of terrorism and its impact on South Asian nations. Let's begin with the headlines first. Pakistan-aided terrorists unleash violence in Kashmir. 5 polio workers shot dead in Afghanistan as wave of targeted killings continues. And major terror plan averted in Punjab. Police seize huge cache of arms. Pakistan-sponsored terrorists are trying their best to create chaos and unrest in Jammu and Kashmir. While the peace and stability is gradually returning in the valley, they have intensified their efforts to revive violence in the region. A large number of civilians and security personnel have already lost their lives in several terrorist attacks in the past. Now, once again, terrorists launched a fresh attack and opened fire targeting security forces in the Baramulla district of Jammu and Kashmir. A report.
Kashmir, often called the heaven on earth, has been witnessing violence and chaos owing to the malicious agendas of Pakistan-backed terrorists present in the valley. Recently, terrorists hurled a grenade and opened fire at security forces in the main market of Kashmir's Supor town. During the attack, 4 policemen and 4 civilians received bullet injuries, following which they were shifted to a nearby hospital for treatment. Later, 2 police personnel and 2 civilians succumbed to their injuries. Hours after this ghastly terror attack, police investigation confirmed that the bloodshed was planned and executed by Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist Fayaz War and Mudassir Pandit in collusion with a Pakistani terrorist.
हमारी पुलिस की पार्टी सोपुर से निकली थी। उसमें एक एसआई मुकेश कुमार थे और 4 सिपाही बीपी गाड़ी में और इन्फोर्स करवा रहे थे लॉकडाउन का। एक मेन मार्केट चौक पर पीछे से 3 मिलिटेंट बाइक से आया और अंधाधुंध पीछे से फायर किया, जिसमें 3 सिविलियन जख्मी हो गए, 4 पुलिस वाले। बाद में दोनों सिविलियन का डेथ हो गया, 2 पुलिस वाले का वहीं शहीद हो गए और हमारे 1 सिविलियन और 4 पुलिस वाले जख्मी हो गए। इसमें लश्कर तैयबा का जो फयाज वार है, लोकल मिलिटेंट है, और दूसरा मुदस्सिर पंडित, दोनों को आइडेंटिफाई किया गया है और हम लोग ऑपरेशन वहाँ लॉन्च करके आए हैं और पूरे ढंग से इसको न्यूट्रलाइज करेंगे।
Pakistan-backed Lashkar-e-Taiba has of late stepped up operations in Jammu and Kashmir to demoralize the pro-democracy elements in the valley. Pak-backed terror groups are targeting those who are willing to represent people through democratic and constitutional ways. Earlier this month, a front of the Lashkar-e-Taiba claimed responsibility for the killing of a municipal councillor and a Kashmiri Pandit, Rakesh Pandita. They are desperately trying to create an atmosphere of fear and terror among people that would hinder the economy and progress in the valley.
A very cowardly attack by Lashkar-e-Taiba has taken place in Sopor, and unfortunately we have our 2 civilians and 2 CRP Jawans have been martyred, and our full sympathies with their families, and 2 policemen of Jammu and Kashmir have also been injured. All this shows is that Pakistan and Pakistan ISI, they do not want that normalcy should come, because as you know, that is why they have told their cadres to do such things, so that there is a sense of non-normalcy, there is a sense of insecurity in this Kashmir valley. And as you know, that a couple of days earlier also there were some IDs, blast was there was also IDs were found. So all this is to be seen in that context.
Although silence has been maintained at the line of control following a ceasefire with Pakistan, terror recruitment in the valley has not seen a complete reduction in respect to last year. As per data, the local recruitment in 2019 was 119 and in 2020 it was 166. Till May 1 this year, it stood at around 40 compared to a corresponding figure of 49 last year. Most of them have joined Lashkar-e-Taiba and Al-Badr terror groups. Meanwhile, several new groups with different names have cropped up in Kashmir to provide a front to traditional Pakistan-sponsored terror organizations. This will allow the country to claim deniability on these terror groups. Several reports have revealed that even though there had not been any ceasefire violation Since February 25th this year, Pakistan's support to terror elements in Kashmir continues through Hawala operators and other means. Such consistent attempts of Pakistan at fomenting trouble and breaching harmony in an otherwise peaceful Kashmir reek of its duplicity.
Moving on to Afghanistan, where violence has been rising as foreign forces begin withdrawing and efforts to broker a peace settlement between the Afghan government and the insurgent Taliban have slowed. This week too, terrorists shot dead 5 polio vaccinators in eastern Afghanistan. Police has blamed the Taliban for the attack, but the group has denied responsibility. The latest killings come just 2 months after the killing of 3 female polio workers in the provincial capital of Jalalabad. This escalating rate of violence has raised concerns regarding the vulnerable situation of Afghanistan amidst the withdrawal of foreign troops and the revival of dreaded terror groups on its soil.
Already fragile health system of Afghanistan is facing a double setback amid COVID-19 crisis as its doctors and healthcare workers are being targeted continuously. In the latest in a series of attacks against health workers, 5 polio vaccinators were killed and 4 were injured in 5 separate attacks during a polio vaccination drive in Afghanistan's Nangarhar province. Earlier, 3 women working for the polio vaccination campaign were killed in 2 separate attacks in the same region in March 2021 that forced the workers to suspend their operations and assess security.
واکسیناتور نسی او بیرته ساتنه نشي کولای په 300 افغاني باندې ما ورور لا سلاړو زه په زر ماشومان باندې نه ورکوم زه وڅ وکم په دې واکسین والا باندې زه په دې دولت باندې څه وکم.
This comes amid the Afghan government's nationwide campaign to give polio vaccination doses to millions of children under the age of 5, which has suffered a major setback due to frequent assassination of healthcare workers. These killings point to the disturbing rise in chaos in the country, where targeted murders of health workers, humanitarians, empowered women and journalists continue unabated.
That the advent of the Taliban, if it actually takes over power or even if it contests for power, will destroy all gains made by Afghanistan in health, women's education, social infrastructure and so on and so forth. Why? For one, we know Taliban does not believe in women's education. We know what happened during the Taliban's time when they tried to take over. They legislated that women could not come out unless they were accompanied by a male relative. So, and under those, they pushed the women out of jobs. So, under those circumstances, to expect the Taliban to be good for Afghanistan's social development, I think is foolish.
Though not uncommon in Afghanistan, attacks on polio vaccination teams are more frequent in Pakistan, as Taliban and other terrorist groups keep on attacking healthcare workers and security persons who accompany them. Taliban and other Pakistani religious leaders claim that vaccines are a conspiracy started by Western countries aimed at sterilizing Muslim children. They also claim that inoculation drives are used to spy on terror activities. Last week only, 2 police officers protecting polio jab team were shot dead in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province located near the Afghanistan border, which is a stronghold of Afghan Taliban, Pakistan Taliban, as well as organizations like Al-Qaeda and other foreign terror groups.
Even Muslim countries cracked down on those rumor mongers very, very strongly, and there were government campaigns telling people that these rumors were false, and if they wanted the welfare of their children, they should go vaccinate against polio. Pakistan government took it up very half-heartedly, and therefore many of these religious organizations got an opportunity to spread these rumors. And obviously, Taliban, which takes its inspiration from a lot of these Pakistani clergy, they also did the same thing in Afghanistan. Spread rumors that this vaccination drive for polio was an attempt to curb Afghanistan's population. Now, the Afghan population, of course, did not believe this. So what the Taliban did, they started to target vaccination workers. Anybody who was associated with the vaccination effort was targeted.
The killings are a worrying sign of how much remains unsettled as the United States is withdrawing troops from Afghanistan after nearly 2 decades of fighting, and have added to fears that more violence and chaos will follow. Taking advantage of the troop withdrawal, the Taliban has intensified its efforts to capture more areas while maintaining its ties with Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Besides, the disruptive role of Pakistani deep state is adding fuel to the fire, with Islamabad continuing its support to Taliban's terror tactics. Reports suggest that ISI is working to form an umbrella alliance of deadly terror outfits across Afghanistan to ensure Pakistani domination in the affairs of that country. Meanwhile, the peace process has failed to deliver any positive outcomes and has little or no hope of doing so in future. There are apprehensions that the withdrawal of foreign troops would nevertheless not end fighting in Afghanistan, but would cause a drawn-out civil war.
Pakistan has been relentlessly facilitating anti-India activities, be it Kashmir or Punjab. Islamabad has been misusing all its state mercenaries to push in terrorist and provoke anti-India sentiments in the form of Khalistan to disrupt peace and harmony in India. Exposing these nefarious agendas of Pakistan, Punjab police recently seized a huge cache of foreign-made pistols and arrested a weapon smuggler linked with Pakistan-based terror outfits and anti-India pro-Khalistani elements based in abroad, a report.
Pakistan for decades has been sponsoring and aiding terror organizations on its soil to carry out terror activities in India. Its devious designs were exposed once again when Punjab police recently recovered a large cache of foreign-made pistols and arrested a weapon smuggler, Jagjit Singh Aka Jaggu, allegedly linked to Pakistani terror outfits and pro-Khalistani organizations based in the United States, Canada and the United Kingdom. Jagjit was working at the behest of US-based handler Dharmanjot Singh, Aka Dharman Kahlon, who is affiliated with banned terrorist organizations like the Babbar Khalsa International and Khalistan Liberation Force based in Pakistan and have operatives in the West. The arrest and seizure is a testimony to the fact that Pakistan was trying to revive terrorism in Punjab. It is no coincidence that the arms recovered from Jagjit Singh are among the list of weapons used by Pakistani army.
उसने बताया कि उसका कांटेक्ट एक दमनजोत एलियस दरमन कालो ये यूएस में है और इसका जो विलेज है दरमनजोत का ये तलवंडी खुमान है। तलवंडी खुमान जो पुलिस स्टेशन कत्थू में है। तो दरमनजोत का विलेज और जगजीत का विलेज ये तकरीबन आसपास ही है। यहाँ जब पंजाब में था तब भी ये दरमनजोत के कांटेक्ट में था और जब ये दुबई गया तब भी ये उसके कांटेक्ट में रहा है। जब ये उसके कांटेक्ट में आया तो उसने बताया कि तू कत्थू एरिया में जाके वहाँ से कुछ आपको मिलेगा कंसाइनमेंट, वो कंसाइनमेंट ले आओ। जो दरमन कालो है जो बाहर है यूएस में, ये पता लगा है कि इसके संबंध कुछ बैंड टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं उसके साथ हैं, जिनके मेंबर्स कनाडा में, यूएस में, यूके में हैं, पाकिस्तान में हैं।
The pro-Khalistan separatists settled abroad are also making repeated attempts to grab the attention of the world Sikh community by indulging into violence. Earlier in March, some radical pro-Khalistan goons attacked a Tiranga rally organized by Canadian Indian and insulted the Indian national flag. Indian diaspora has been continuously facing threats from such brainwashed Khalistani sympathizers who are being funded by ISI.
As of today, there are virtually no takers for the Khalistan movement in India or Punjab. It has virtually come to its absolute standstill. This notwithstanding, 6 separatists settled in America, UK, Canada, Germany, Pakistan continue to hold rallies off and on with a view to A, garner additional funds from the Sikh community. Second, embarrass India. And third, to retain relevance. India need not be bothered about it at all. There is virtually no support for Khalistan movement anywhere in the world today, other than nuisance value.
A report published by a leading Canadian think tank last year also reiterated the fact that Pakistan continues to provide training to pro-Khalistani separatists and indulges in relentless propaganda on the issue. It has also been found that various websites of pro-Khalistan organizations, including secessionist group Sikh for Justice, have links with Pakistan. Not only that, in the past, Sikhs for Justice wrote to Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan to politically support the referendum 2020 movement that clearly exposed Pakistan's close nexus with pro-Khalistan separatists based in the West. Not only abroad, but in Pakistan too, these outfits are being provided with complete support and shelter. In the past, several outfits such as the Babur Khalsa, Khalistan Liberation Force, Khalistan Zindabad Force and Khalistan Commando Force have come under the scanner. A meeting at the Nankana Sahib in Pakistan between these elements and the ISI also came under the scanner. Meanwhile, it was also established that the Babur Khalsa and the Lashkar-e-Taiba were sharing a common office outside the Nankana Sahib.
पाकिस्तान की शुरू से कोशिश रही है, हमारे पंजाब से, हिंदुस्तान से के भगौड़े, परमजीत सिंह पंजवड़, वदावा सिंह बब्बर, ऐसे कई टेररिस्ट हैं जो पाकिस्तान में उनके रोटी पानी पे पलते हैं। अब वो पाकिस्तान ISI उनके ऊपर प्रेशर डालता है कि आप कुछ करते नहीं हैं, हम आपको खाना खिलाते हैं, हम आपको यहाँ रहने की जगह देते हैं, आप जाके कोई ना कोई पंजाब के अंदर नई वारदात करो। अब पंजाब के कई गैंगस्टर, जम्मू कश्मीर के कई पुराने आतंकवादी अब उनके मिलकर के विदेशों में कोई ना कोई किसी ना किसी से टाई अप करके हिंदुस्तान में साजिश करते हैं कि हम कोई ना कोई नया रास्ता अपनाएं, क्योंकि कश्मीर के अंदर पाकिस्तान की पॉलिसी टेररिज्म के ऊपर पूरी जो फैलाने की वो फेल हो चुकी है। हमारी सुरक्षा फोर्सेज ने उनको ख़त्म कर दिया है।
While Pakistan continues to push its Khalistan agenda, the fact of the matter is that it has not found many takers in India. That is why Pakistan is instigating anti-Indian forces to target Indians in different countries. Sponsoring attacks against Indians living abroad portray Pakistan's hatred towards India. A part of this hatred stems from the fact that diplomatically Pakistan has failed to gather any global momentum against India.
Moving on, it's been 74 years since Pakistan, through illegal and immoral means of trickery and thuggery, occupied the present-day territory of POK. Ever since, it has been using the region to propagate extremism and terrorism. Despite several warnings from the international community, terror launch pads are operating in full swing in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where terrorists are receiving training on cross-border terrorism and infiltration by the Pakistan Army. A report.
Pakistan-occupied Kashmir continues to be safe haven for dreaded terrorists operating in the region. The land over which the indigenous people have their prerogative is blazonly being used to establish and proliferate terror camps. Not one or two, but a large number of terrorist camps thrive here. The gullible youth is indoctrinated in these camps only and then asked to infiltrate and unleash mayhem in Jammu and Kashmir. On one side, amid international pressure, Pakistan government pretends to launch a crackdown on these terror groups. On the other, terror leaders in Pakistan continue to carry rallies and hold meetings openly.
There are terrorist camps at the moment dotted all over Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir, from Muzaffarabad to Neelam. You name it, and almost every district has got more than one terrorist training camps. And these terrorist training camps have never been dismantled, and they have never been out of operation. And it is these terrorist camps that where they train infiltrators who are supposed to enter India, Indian Jammu Kashmir.
Terrorists in active camps in POK are given proper military training and subsequently they infiltrate into Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan-backed terror groups are now adopting new tactics from other theatres like drones to drop weapons and drugs, tunnels for smuggling and introducing improvised explosive devices in Kashmir. Multiple terror teams comprising terrorists from Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Hizbul Mujahideen have been regularly camping in various forward areas of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir with the intention of infiltrating into India to carry out attacks in Kashmir and beyond.
They are also trained in how to make IEDs, the use of weapon, how to assemble a weapon, how to crawl on the mountains, and these camps are still very much alive and kicking. And only a few days ago, when General Qamar Javed Bajwa held a conference of formation commanders in GHQ Rawalpindi, he categorically mentioned that the operational preparedness on line of control must be carried on, which means that they are digging bunkers and they are also continuously making launch pads, new launch pads in Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir.
Meanwhile, several reports have revealed that Pakistan is also providing training to foreign terrorists. In a major revelation, a senior lawmaker and former envoy of Pakistan, Raja Zafar ul Haq, claimed that Pakistan has trained Hamas, a Palestinian Sunni Islamic fundamentalist and militant organization.
These terrorist camps also train terrorists from Hamas and also train terrorists from other Central Asian countries. So Pakistan basically is a hub of terrorist training. They fund them, they sponsor them and they run them. Every military training camp has got an major, army major who works as an instructor over there. And occasionally senior, depending upon the size of the training center, brigadiers also pay visits and deliver lectures over there on how to do terrorist acts inside India and otherwise.
India has always shown concerns regarding the existence of terror training camps in POK. In March 2021, India's Junior Interior Minister G. Kishan Reddy also said that India has consistently emphasized to Pakistan to put an end to cross-border infiltration of terrorists and dismantle the infrastructure supporting terrorism on a permanent basis. However, despite all the embarrassment and name-calling at various global forums, Pakistan continues to use terrorism as an instrument of its state policy.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Shreya Savijay signing off on the behalf of the entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.